Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, and I would greatly appreciate it if you want to support me, if you want to support the channel, if you would consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps to get the videos out there, and it inspires me to keep creating. For some reason, I've had a lot of trouble recording that intro. This is the third time that I've tried to record this intro because I keep tripping over my words. So hopefully the recap ain't like that. But we are going to be getting into Love is Blind Germany, episodes 4, 5. Today, I have really been enjoying watching this. I do want to give a big thank you to those of you guys who were in the comments of the previous video that I did, helping with translation, bridging the gap. There is a reason why I don't really like to cover the non-English versions. I don't want to say all of the non-English versions, but the non-English versions where I don't at least understand a little bit of the language. Like, I would be cool with doing like the Spanish, some of the Spanish ones because I understand enough in conjunction with the subtitles to kind of like actually get what's going on. But I don't speak German at all, so that's been my hesitation. Also the Brazilian one, a lot of you guys have asked me to do that. Because I do feel like a lot gets lost when you don't natively speak the language or at least understand enough of the language. So thank you so much. If you do speak German, please let me know if anything gets lost in translation, because obviously I am just literally going off of the subtitles and the dub. So thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I am recapping The Traitors US. It is really good this season, y'all. If you don't watch The Traitors, definitely get in and watch The Traitors. It is so good. I already have the episode 1 recap up. I know not a lot of y'all are hip to this show, okay? Because those videos are just a labor of love because y'all don't even, but please get into it. Anyways, let us get into Love is Blind. We are going to start off with episode 4 and let's jump in. Okay, so episode 4, we start off hot on the heels of the reveal of Medina and Sally.
Sorry, I need a tissue. I don't feel like I know the person that...
Now, Sally is still crying. She's still really upset. For her, she says, I don't even know the person I just met. I feel like I am completely lost. I don't understand why he was acting like this. He just feels like a stranger to me. And Sally actually at this point decides that she is going to leave the experiment. They go and tell Medina, hey, look, Sally left. And Medina's like, wait, what? Like, I didn't know it was like that. Honestly, I did sense some kind of discomfort or something of that nature, but I don't feel like that is enough of a reason to fully leave the experiment. So I did think it was interesting because obviously myself and obviously a lot of others, we interpreted Medina's reaction as him laughing at her. But as you go through and watch this, now I'm questioning if that was really the case. So let's go into Sheila and Tolga's reveal.
Thanks, so do you. Hi.
Hi.
So they meet, and Tolga was not giving me that he was feeling her. He tried to claim that it was nerves. He tried to claim that he was a little bit shaken, you know, from this whole thing, but it was not giving that he was feeling her looks physically. He didn't really smile all that much. He was acting very awkward, kind of cold, and I just didn't get the vibe that he was into her immediately. Now, he does propose once again, and I thought it was funny that he did not know what finger the ring finger goes on. Like, how do you not know what finger the wedding ring goes on? But he claims that he knows that he definitely made the right decision, because remember, he was in that little triangle with Hannah as well, and she agrees. Now, Sheila says that Tolga is definitely her type. So that leaves us with all of our couples, and it is time to get to the honeymoon. So they go to Crete, they go to Greece. Hani and Daniel.
Can you actually do everything?
Yeah, I can do it all.
Crazy.
Just kidding, I can't cook.
Whoa, we're off to a good start. I'll be a house husband, shit.
We get them first. They are laughing a lot. Again, these two, the big thing they had was that banter. And it seems that they have continued to have that banter on the show. Hani does say that his voice is very familiar, but obviously not his face. So she's definitely explaining that there is a lot of trouble placing that face. to the voice. And, they're talking. She says all this different stuff. I found it funny that she said that she falls asleep to podcasts that are made for kids. I don't really fall asleep to anything anymore, personally. I used to fall asleep to like lo-fi music or healing frequencies, but now I don't fall asleep to anything because my husband, he don't like that stuff. So Sheila and Tolga.
This feels so surreal.
It's hard to believe that only a few days ago, I was still single. And now...
Now, he says this is all very cheesy. This is not his type. I don't know. Tolga's really given that he's not feeling this whatsoever. He's not feeling the dynamic of the experiment. He's not feeling Sheila. I just from day one was getting vibes that Tolga was like, oh, what did they have me in? So he says once again that he really likes fire and passion in a relationship. He wants a woman that's going to bring that. And he feels that he and Sheila are always going to be fighting. He makes all these little jokes like toxic Tolga, toxic Sheila. We gonna be the toxic relationship. And I'm like, sir, how many like movies? I don't know. I feel like this is very like romance movie coded or something, where it's like you have this toxic couple that's always fighting, but then they come back together. He seems to have a very specific fantasy of what he wants his relationship to look like. And it's just weird and also toxic. Sir, you are, I mean, he said it, but he is toxic. So Ilias and Alina.
I'm really glad that I made the right choice, not just in terms of personality, but also in terms of appearance. As of now, I have no regrets, and
Ilias feels that he has no regrets in terms of appearance or anything like that. He does feel like he made the right decision. They both agree that they feel like they made the right decision. Okay. Now, Jenna and Marcel.
Nepal. It's a person in a meditative pose.
Oh, and that's okay. That's the center of his body.
Exactly, that's right, yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
There does seem to be a little bit more chemistry between them because, as I said in the reveal, another one that I just felt like was really awkward was Jenna and Marcel. Obviously, Marcel didn't say much at all. He was very quiet. And for me, I'm always thinking, look, that person that just sits there quietly, has almost nothing to say, off rip when you just met somebody is a little bit weird to me. Whether you're an introvert or not. And I'll be honest, I don't even know that true introverts would go on shows like this because I am an introvert and I would never, like, okay, yes, I'm married, but like, even if I was single, you would never catch me on a show like this. So I don't know. That I'm just quiet naturally stuff to me is always kind of a red flag. Now, she says, Jen says that she is being more lively and engaged than she usually is in these kind of relationships. Obviously, because it is a weird experience and she's trying to like show quickly like, hey, this is who I am. However, she does realize that Marcel is a lot more calm and withdrawn. Okay, with your emotionally avoidant self, Marcel. Now, she asked what Marcel thought that she would look like, and he said once again that he was super worried that she was going to be ugly. He even said a prayer before this, and I go back again and say, were you purposely picking somebody that you thought was going to be ugly? Like, to me, it's not making sense why he thought she was going to be ugly. Now, he talks a lot about his tattoos. He has a tattoo of somebody doing yoga in Nepal. Marcel is a pretentious, fake, he's a pretentious, crunchy guy. Like, you know them crunchy moms? Marcel is a crunchy guy. He's a crunchy man. Like, he's into all this wellness stuff, this health stuff, these yoga retreats. And he's very pretentious. I'm sorry, this man is pretentious. So, Jen talks about her tattoos, and she has one where she was really, really drunk and sunburned, and Marcel is not impressed. He's not feeling the loud, carefree nature of Jen. He already thinks that he's better than this. So Pascal and Sheila.
In a relationship, that's unrealistic. And right now, it's about finding out if things can work between us.
Work between us.
Yeah.
Pascal is saying that he's not really feeling Sheila as his fiance yet. He says that he's constantly looking for downsides and negatives to the relationship, and he doesn't feel that necessarily everything has to fit perfectly for a relationship to work, but his biggest focus at this moment is just focusing on if they work. So going into this, Pascal is definitely the one out of the two of them that has regrets. Not regrets. Regrets is the wrong word. He has like reservations. He's definitely the one that's more like, I'm not sure what's going on. Whereas Sheila is definitely more like, okay, let's get into it. Let's really, try to see if we have this connection here. Like, let's try to make steps. Let's try to make progress. And you already know, I think Sheila picking Marcel, I don't get it. I think it was a bad decision. I think Pascal showed much more interest. So to me, I didn't really understand what about Pascal and his withdrawn nature was what drew Sheila. I don't get it. So Sheila and Tolga, they are flirting at dinner. He does talk about how he was very nervous to propose. And she's kind of poking fun at him for that. Like, oh, you do have a soft side. Okay, you can't be a big softie. Now, Sheila talks about how she has not been in love or had butterflies for a long time. So this makes her feel like a teenager again, this type of love. Sheila does say that she is lucky and, maybe one day, she'll cook for him even. She's trying to say, look, you lucky you got me, okay? You got a good wife. And he's like, maybe you'll cook for me. More like, you will cook for me. And I was like, ooh, oh no. That would have been where I left it. I would have left immediately. I would have been out the door. I mean, I wouldn't be with a man like Tolga anyway from the pods. When he was talking about all this housewife stuff, that would have been enough for me. But, Sheila does get a bit taken aback by the comments, as expected, and he's like, this is what marriage is like? Prison? I can't even say anything without you getting emotional. He's like, where is the career-driven, on my level type of Sheila that was in the pods? Because remember, he does say in the pause that he doesn't want a woman that's going to get upset and cry and get emotional during situations. He just wants to be able to say whatever he wants to you. And you're going to either fight him back and get into some I don't know, he has some erotic, toxic fetish, I don't know, of having these toxic fights with his partner. I don't know, he has some kind of fight fetish. Or he wants you to just shut up and be a housewife and not respond to him. Tolga is very toxic for that. He really wants a woman that's going to be either docile or fulfill those fantasies that he has. And I'm not with it. If I was Sheila, I would have been like, But again, Sheila, why were you attracted in the first place? So Alina and Ilias. Ilias does want to talk about sex and intimacy already, okay? He's discussing, what's that gonna look like? When are we gonna do it? Ilias is he's thirsty. Ilias is horny. I'm just gonna say he is horny. This man talks about sex more than anyone on this cast. That man is horny. I have questions about him. Now, he says he is worried what would happen if they weren't able to cuddle on the first night. He's like, what would we do, if you didn't want to cuddle with me? And she's like, well, I don't know. You would have probably slept on the couch and I would have taken the bed. He says having these kind of conversations with Alina is making him more excited for when they do have sex. And keep that in mind, because this man keeps talking about his excitement for sex. It's a lot. This man just came to get a little something, I think. So Marcel and Jen, they're sitting down once again, and Marcel is doing that staring thing that he always does, where he doesn't say anything. If you watch Married at First Sight, it's really giving Ikechi. Just the staring, the ogling, not saying anything is so awkward. Ooh, sorry, y'all. I hit the zoom button on my camera by accident. Anyway, Jen is like, what? He's like, well, I'm just being attentive and I like what I see. So that's why I'm staring. It's because I like you and I'm paying attention. But are you going to say any words to try to get to know her? Is there going to be any kind of engagement with your partner? Or is it just going to be looking? Now, Jen says when she's not happy with things, she shuts down and she gets really cold. She puts these walls up and she just doesn't really like to communicate. And my thing was, so you both withdraw. You both are withdrawn because you already mentioned that, he's withdrawn. He don't really talk. And you're saying you also are withdrawn. So again, how do we resolve conflict when we get to it? How do we breach those sensitive, serious conversations, if ever? Because I don't know, couples like this, y'all never talk about things. So Daniel and Hani, Daniel says his first thought when he saw Hani was, wow, like he loves her figure. She got the face to match. Daniel is happy with what he sees. Now she is wondering if Daniel is the jealous type. She's like, you know, if we're together, can I wear whatever I want? Even if you're not present, can I wear whatever I like? And he makes a little joke like, where are you going to be going without me? I do think those questions are very interesting. And it sounds like Hani must have had a situation with a previous partner where they try to control her, try to control what she wears, try to control her body. And obviously, as someone who's a modern woman, you know, I think there's a balance, right? I think there's a balance between respect and also self-freedom. And I don't think a man should be managing what you're wearing or when you're wearing it. So I can understand her fears and wanting to know what's going on there and how he feels. And I will say, Daniel doesn't really give answers. Like, I feel like Daniel wants to be this guy that doesn't really care about things. He's not going to get upset. You know, he mentions it a couple of other times later on in the episodes, but I don't think Daniel is really like that. It's not giving that he actually is as carefree and is as cool with his woman doing whatever she wants as he tries to portray. So anyways, these two have really good physical chemistry. They do make out in the pool. They're looking at the stars afterwards and they're just chatting. There's definitely the comfort there, the attraction there between them two. It definitely seems like these two are a pretty good match. And I think they look pretty good together. Hani says in the confessional that she is not usually like this. She doesn't usually get vulnerable, get physical. When I say physical, they just hug, they cuddle, they make out. She doesn't usually get like this with people. It usually takes her a while to let that wall down. Lastly, we go to Marcel and Sheila, and things are not going so hot with the two of them. Once again, Marcel is, not Marcel, Pascal. I don't know why I wrote Marcel in my notes.
Yeah. And anything else?
I thought we were going to sleep.
Pascal is a little bit withdrawn, you know. He, once again, is kind of eyeing Sheila. Sheila walks into the bedroom and is like, hey, like, let's go to bed. And Pascal is, like, on the other side of the bed, just like, I don't know, like, I was reading on Reddit that some people said that Pascal is like your average German man who's very withdrawn, doesn't really let his emotions out so easily, isn't as quick to just jump into this kind of serious experiment. And I hear you, but it's also giving not interested. Like, it's just giving not interested, in my opinion. I feel like he's not very comfortable with her. And once again, I feel like when you are getting comfortable with someone, there should still be like the little nuances, the little jokes, the little pokes, the little jabs, a smile even. I feel like he's very rigid. Like, his body language is very rigid. It's very closed. So it just wasn't giving that he was feeling her. Now, I don't want to jump to the automatic conclusion that he's just not attracted to her, because I don't know. There's nothing that immediately leads me to feel that he's not attracted to her. But at the same time, I just think something is not connecting from inside the pods to out for him. And maybe it's the looks, maybe not. Anyway. Next morning. So Ilias and Alina, they say that their first night went really well, and Ilias reminds us yet again in the confessional that he is ready to have sex, okay? He is ready. Dang, we get it. So they're giving each other massages.
Ding.
Well,
Surprise.
surprise. Let yourself be surprised.
You know, for him, he's like, it's real sensual, you know, it increases the excitement of what's gonna come. And I'm like, damn, sir, go relieve yourself. Look, for real, this man is horny. Oh my. On his massage, when it's her turn, he's like, did I book a happy ending? I'm like, come on, bro. Come on, this man is pretty much begging for it. Now, Alina says that Ilias so far has been very attentive. She's what she's looking for, and she feels like she really is in love. And I'm like, wow, love, okay. Jen and Marcel, they are jet skiing. He says it feels great to have her hugging him because on the jet ski, she's like hugging him from behind as he's driving it. Now, Jen is trying to talk with Marcel afterward, and she's talking. She's definitely a chatty one. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like, is she chatty or is he just not saying anything? Because she's talking, she's asking questions, and at some point she makes a little joke like, "Oh, are you tired of me?" Like, dang, because he's not really saying anything. He doesn't say much. He doesn't say anything. He just kind of sits there. He doesn't laugh. Again, another one who's very rigid, very closed, and it's just weird because, again, he's giving her nothing. And the same thing that I say with someone like Ikechi, it's like, yes, being bombarded with questions is annoying. When someone's interviewing you and just, it is annoying. But at the same time, in this kind of experiment where you don't know each other, you don't know the person's interests, you don't have anything off rip that you can kind of talk about, it's just like, what do you expect the other person to do other than pretty much interview you? If you're not going to contribute to the conversation so it can naturally flow. Okay. So finally, Marcel pipes up and he's like, so I'm a little worried, I'm worried what my friends are going to think about us because they're going to definitely think it's weird that I'm with somebody who talks the entire time. And I was like, ooh, why you gotta say that? Dang. In the confessional, he says that he notices that they definitely have some differences, so they'll have to see. Sure do. So Daniel and Hani, she is like feeling like she wants to be with someone who doesn't just see her as an accessory, someone who doesn't just say, oh, she's really attractive and drag her around. She liked Daniel from the beginning because it always felt like he wanted to get to know her deeper and that he wasn't just judging off of the looks. He had further questions and then he also gives compliments about her looks. So she's really feeling like this is very different than a lot of the relationships she's been in. And then we have Sheila and Tolga. So Tolga says that it stressed him out, that it made her upset and really hurt her feelings, that in the pods, he couldn't make a decision immediately. He apologizes profusely for that. She's kind of vulnerable and talks about how it made her feel. But overall, it seems like they're coming to some kind of good level with that entire thing. Now, Tolga lets us know in the confessional that he is not going to introduce a woman to his parents unless he knows that they can get through day-to-day life. He's not going to bother and waste that time because if you can't get through the day-to-day, then what is the point? All right, so all of the couples are going to meet up. And we begin this little meetup with Ilias and Hani. Now, Hani was like, oh, wow, I had kind of like a different image of you from the pods. And Ilias from this minute is like, oh my God, I didn't think like it was going to be like this with Hani. Wow. Like this man from the moment he saw her could not get Hani out of his head. It is crazy. Now everybody's talking. Tolga decides that he's going to confide in the guy.
No.
So,
You two do look really good together.
Yeah, totally. It just works. Totally. Cute.
That he's not really feeling comfortable with Sheila. It's really difficult for him. He's not feeling comfortable in the relationship. But we've been to Sheila talking about how she thinks that things are perfect for her. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I feel like maybe because I can't understand German or something, I missed something because I was very confused with Tolga. What was wrong? I was very confused at the breakdown of sort of what happened with them because as far as we saw, it looked like they were talking. It looked like things were cool. But we have Tolga here saying things aren't comfortable for him. He's not feeling it whatsoever. And again, when I see something like this, I'm always apt to think, is it the looks? Is it the looks? Because what else would it be if you don't really know the person other than the looks? Anyway, Tolga is saying, look, I feel like I am suffocated at all times in this marriage. I feel like I always have one hand around my throat. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, pause. For why? I I don't know if there was a part that I missed or something that just got lost in translation, but for me, I was like, how did we get here? And if there is nothing that I missed, then it's clear that that man's not attracted to her, period. He ain't attracted to her, period. So the guys are telling him, why don't you give it a few more days? You guys just met, just see where things go. But Tolga, he seems like he's all the way out the door. It's not 1 foot out the door. Tolga is gone. Tolga's outside the house at this point. So Tolga goes over and he has a little conversation with Hani, and he's like, tell me about Hannah a little bit. Like, would I have liked her? Did she look Turkish? He is trying to get the scoop. And Hani's like, yeah, you would have loved her. Like, you really would have liked her. And I'm like, Hani, what are you doing? Why are you telling him this? Now, Ilias says he was really surprised that Alina wasn't blonde, and Alina is telling the girls, there's no need to rush into things. I think it's great that we're taking our own pace. We know Ilias is thirsty, okay? That man is thirsty. He is ready to go. But Alina is kind of like, let's slow it down a bit. I want to get to know him. So Hani and Ilias, they finally sit down.
But, us being honest is part of this whole experiment, right?
Yeah. Shit.
So Hani says that she has not gotten to test Daniel yet on jealousy. We pan to him standing there looking irritated that the two of them are talking. And as I said, I feel like Daniel, he does try to put on that he's this, I don't care what my girl does. I trust that she's going to be there for me. She's going to be with me. But it definitely gives that he gets jealous quickly. And Hani does repeatedly mention this, like, I can't be with a man who's jealous. I can't be with a man who's jealous. Obviously, she's had that experience before. So they start to get into like some light small talk, just about tattoos and different things. Now, Ilias says, I was happy to see you. Like, I knew you were good looking. We communicate with our eyes, okay? He says that he could communicate with her with just his eyes. This man is down bad for her after seeing her one time. Ilias, I have questions about Ilias. Ilias is weird. He's weird. He's a weird person. Alina, of course, is on the other side of the party, staring over at them, seeing them talking, seeing them laughing and flirting, particularly him. And she's like, look, I really don't know yet if Ilias is just a flirt or what it is. Let me tell you something. I know there are people out there that claim that, they're just a flirt and that's naturally how they are. Get out of here. If you are in a relationship, there's no reason that you need to be breaching those boundaries and touching on someone and leaning in like this. I don't care. Get out of here with this I'm a flirt stuff. No, you just lack boundaries. That's it. You lack boundaries. Everyone I've known in my life that is just a flirt, if we are keeping it 100, they just lacked boundaries. Anyway, Ilias now says he would say that there's nothing there, but ultimately that's a lie. And sometimes the truth isn't pleasant. So he's starting to build the building blocks that there is something there for him with Hani and that he has feelings for her. And again, I say, wow, being able to immediately forget about the other woman the minute you see someone else. Yeah, ladies, don't be with this man. All right. That's how we end that episode, by the way. Episode 5. So Ilias is still wondering if he can kind of lie about his feelings to Hani, to Alina.
Obviously don't want to be, but I have to listen to my feelings. But maybe I'm reading too much into something that isn't actually there.
He's like, I don't want to have to lie, but then I don't want to have to tell her. So he's real conflicted right now, to the point where he doesn't know what to do, to the point where he wants to leave for something else. And to me, that is just such a red flag. I keep harping on it, but it's like someone like that is always going to be looking for something better. I would never want to be with a man where the minute he sees a woman that he finds more attractive or that is more his type, that he's automatically onto her, because you're going to keep doing that. There's always going to be beautiful women out there. So you need to be able to have the self-control to not just immediately lose interest in the person that you're with. After the party, Ilias does say that he is being unfair to Alina, but he does need to listen to his feelings. Sure thing. So, laying in bed, they're talking, and Alina's like, so what was it like to see Hani and Jen today? I know they were your other matches. Now, he says, look, I wouldn't be laying with you if I wanted to be with someone else. I wouldn't be laying with you if I had someone else on my mind. Lies, lies, lies. This man is a liar. All right. Hani and Daniel. So Daniel is like, well, what was it like for you to see Ilias? And she's like, oh, it was just like in the pods, but you ain't got to worry about that. Hani, I'm going to be honest, I don't get the vibe that Hani particularly wants to leave Daniel for Ilias. I think Hani's the type of person that likes when people flirt with her. I think, she enjoys the attention, but I don't get the vibe immediately that she per se was trying to leave for Ilias. However, Ilias, if Hani said go, Ilias would be running, okay? If Hani said jump, he would say how high. I really think that Ilias is ready if Hani is ready, but I just think that Hani isn't ready. So good for her that she can use self-control and stay with the person that she actually matched up with. Jenna and Marcel
Talked about how you have a lot of layers, and we discussed how I can also have a temper sometimes. I think he underestimated how lively I am.
So they're talking about how how Jen told Tolga that Marcel underestimated how lively she is. And he's like, well, Tolga told me that you said that I wasn't going to be lively enough for you. And Jen's like, I never said that. I never said that. That's not what I said. And he's like, okay, well, that's what I heard. So again, Marcel is acting like he's a little bit bothered by that comment, but he tries to deny that it doesn't bother him. Okay. So Tolga and Sheila, these two, it's not going well. They have a storm cloud over their heads.
Anything though. I feel totally empty inside.
So Tolga tells Sheila that he feels like this feels heavy and oppressive rather than lighthearted. And again, I'm going to be honest with you. We are missing something with this couple. I don't know if something happened overnight or if they had some kind of conversation, but Tolga is completely off. He is completely turned off. He says he wishes that it could go back to how it was in the pods, but at this point, he doesn't feel anything now for her, and he feels empty inside. He says, the other couples, he looks around at them and they're so happy, they're lighthearted, they're carefree, but he's just really not seeing that in their relationship. So I don't know. Again, Tolga, I don't know if he got cold feet. I don't know if he saw her and was like, no, but So the next day, Ilias and Alina, now he says once again, before he saw Hani yesterday, he had no doubts. Now he's doubting it all. Hani and Daniel. So they're having a great time. They're diving. They're just enjoying each other. She says that she has never trusted anyone as much as she trusts him. He's just excited that, she's willing to get her hair dirty, get out there, experience things with him. She doesn't want to just sit down, be prissy, be whatever, but she's actually willing to go out and have those experiences. So again, it seems like the two of them are doing pretty all right. Pascal and Sheila. They're they're like sitting on the back of like the car trunk on a cliff. I don't know.
But I don't think that you can generalize that sort of thing.
Some things just take a little time. Like, you're a really attractive woman.
But she wants to build more of a connection with Pascal. She really, really hopes that he can come out of his shell today because, again, he's very rigid. So she asks, how do you feel about the other couples? How'd you feel about everything that went on? And he says that he realized that the other couples have started to move forward and they actually seem to have a connection with each other. So she realizes that they are moving at their own unique pace. For him, falling in love too quickly might lead to something bad. But he is starting to fall in love. You know, she's like the average woman he dates. You know, he does like her. He tries to reassure her that, like, you are my type. I do want to date you. I do want to be with you. But I guess he's just worried that he's going to fall in love too quickly. And this is a thing that we see with Pascal. He frequently will say, she's the perfect match. She's the ideal woman. She's all of these things. Then what's the problem? I don't know, just don't lie. Because if she's so perfect, then what's wrong? Tell the truth. Tell the truth, Pascal. All right. Ilias and Alina. So Ilias once again lets us know that he would be lying if he said he didn't want to talk to Hani again. Now Alina asks, what would you do if you found out that Hani and Daniel were not working? What would you do if you found out that they were having some troubles in their relationship? And he's like, I don't know. And I don't know. I ain't gonna hold you. I think Alina, like, I understand that she was worried and she was concerned about what's going on. But a lot of these conversations that were about Hani and Daniel were prompted by her. Like, she would frequently ask, what would you do? Were you thinking about Hani? Are you hoping Hani's there tonight? Or do you want to see Hani? And it's like, I don't know, girl. Like, you don't need to be doing all that either. Like, if you really do feel like he's not into you, then just scram, you know? But asking all those questions and bringing her up constantly is not really helping the situation either, in my personal opinion. So, Tolga and Sheila. He tells her, look, I don't feel the same way I felt at the reveal anymore. The feelings just really are not there.
Yeah.
That I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
And that has been incredibly difficult to deal with.
I didn't think it would turn out this.
Sheila says, look, I know the people that we were in the pods is who we are. These are who we are. But at the same time, we just grew apart. Like, yeah, we showed our true selves. Yeah, we put it all on the line, but it just doesn't really work out. Tolga ultimately does tell Sheila, hey, look, you're a great person, but I think that we should just end it here, since I just don't see myself being able to move forward with the feelings I have. I don't think he was attracted to her. I don't think he was attracted to her. And I'm not necessarily, like, when I say attraction, it's also not just simply about looks. Like, I think it's a combination. I don't think he liked the personality. I don't think he liked the looks. I just felt like he had a picture in his head of a certain type of woman. And again, Tolga gives, I want to mold a woman into my perfect woman. And I think he realized that she's not going to be moldable into that woman. So, but, you know, I think these Germans, they are real quick to know that they're done, though. They are really quick. Like, for me, Tolga, he was quick. It was within 2 days that this man knew that he was done with the relationship. And you know what? Hey, if you know that you don't have feelings, if you know that you're not going to get there with those feelings, it's best not to stick with the person and string them along and, you know, treat them terribly like some other people on some other shows. Because what's the point? Just end it. So those two are done. We have no more Sheila and Tolga. So the couples meet up. First, the guys decide to talk. So Pascal says that he is having trouble picturing getting to the everyday life stage with Sheila.
Euphoria when we first saw each other. And honestly, she's exactly the woman that I pictured in the pods. But that feeling really tanked.
Okay, wow.
Sheila. She says that, you know, even though they are very similar, that might not always be an advantage. So once again, Pascal, another one who has cold feet. For whatever reason, maybe the looks isn't what he was picturing either. I don't know. Now, he does say that Sheila is the woman that he was expecting in the pods, but it's just not really the connection that he thought it would be. So for him, it really does make it hard for him to think about that day-to-day stage. Now, I don't know. With Pascal, yet again, I think saying she's my perfect woman, always saying that she's your perfect woman, but then also saying I don't have the connection with her. She can't be your perfect woman and you have no connection. You're lying somewhere, right? Ilias talks about how he feels like he is taking it slower. Him and Alina are taking it way slower than everyone else. And Marcel's like, absolutely not. Like, we haven't done anything. So the girls. Sheila is telling the girls that Pascal is struggling the way he did in the pods to open up. And once again, girl, I'm like, why did you choose him?
If I don't get the feeling from my partner that he wants it too, or at least wants to try, then I shut down as well. I mean,
like, I don't understand what Pascal provided her in the pods that made her think that all of a sudden he was going to be committed. I don't get it, Sheila. So for her, she says that when her partner is kind of withdrawn, when her partner's not really giving that effort, of course, it causes her to shut down as well. So Jen is like, I feel like I constantly have to dim myself when it comes to Marcel, because I have a very big personality and he kind of, you know, doesn't really vibe with that. So Alina is telling Hani that Ilias is always talking about her, and she generally gets the vibe that he has not completely shut the door on Hani yet. So Hani's like, I mean, I can try to see if the door is still open if that's what you want. And then Alina's like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? I would have been like, no. I would have been like, what? What do you mean you are going to go see if the door is open? So you going to go flirt with my man and see if he takes it? I would have said no. But that's just me. So Hani and Ilias.
How are things with Alina going?
Actually, there's no reason to say that things aren't moving in the right direction.
Actually?
They sit down. He's like, I'm going to stop looking at you. Oh my God. This thirsty. So she's like, as soon as I'm with Hani, the feelings always come back. No matter what, those feelings come back. And I'm like, wow, it's just so crazy to have such strong feelings for someone based off of the way they look. Like, what? He claims he's close to Alina, but it's just he cannot shake those feelings off for Hani. Now, he says he's 100% sure at this point that it's not just a friendship with Hani and that there is more to where this can go. Daniel and Alina, they go over and they kind of are talking, watching both of their partners over there, blah, 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 with each other. Now, Daniel says he's not going to tell Hani what to do, but at the same time, he's definitely going to be keeping his eye out in case something weird is going on. So Tolga shows up to the party and he lets the group know that he and Sheila broke up. Overall, he realized that the emotional connection was not there, but he's grateful that he can be with everybody for the last couple of days and just have their support. So Tolga and Hani, they go talk. And once again, Tolga is trying to get that scoop on Hannah.
This really isn't easy for me.
Yeah, I believe
They
you.
were always neck and neck. I can't undo things. So I felt at the time, but it's important for...
He's like, wait a minute. So who do you think would have been the better match for me? Sheila or Hannah? Now she says Hannah. She's like, you would have had the time of your life with Hannah. You would have thought Hannah was great. So Tolga's like, okay. So Pascal, Hani, and Tolga, they're all having a conversation. So Pascal says basically that he is in a similar situation that Tolga was in with, why can't I think of Tolga? Sheila. He says, you know, look, you can't really explain love. Like, even if she's a perfect match, if you just don't feel love, you just don't feel love. And again, I'm like, stop the cap. Because Pascal's starting to get my nerves now. Stop the cap. Stop saying she's your perfect match because she is not your perfect match. So Hani and Sheila. So Hani runs on over to tell her what Pascal said. Now Sheila's like, look, that all makes sense, but I feel like he is really not giving this any time. For her, she doesn't feel the need to continue on with somebody who doesn't really want to put that effort into her. Hani's like, I don't think he's telling the truth if we're being honest, because how could he keep saying that it's a perfect match even though he doesn't feel that attraction? I agree. And I also agree with Sheila. Like, at the end of the day, if this man is checked out, there's only so much like, oh, that's just how I am, and I'm just withdrawn, and it just takes me off. There's only so much of that you can take before you move forward to somebody who actually wants to push forward with you. And it's very clear that for him, whether it's a lack of attraction or whatever the case is, he's not feeling it. None of these people are feeling it. Regrets. None of these people are feeling their partners. Why are we here? So after the party, later on, Pascal and Sheila, they talk. So she says to Pascal, I really like you, and I really do think that we complement each other. He's like, I like you too. Do you? Now he says that he likes her, but he does not feel that he has the feelings that are needed for a serious relationship with her.
I can't give you more at this point in time. Because I just don't.
So he really cannot move forward. At this point, he does break it off. He says that she's a great person, all of these different things, but essentially that he cannot keep stringing her along. So she says in the confessional, this is really heartbreaking. She was starting to gain feelings, and it's just kind of sad that now it's all over. And I don't know, man, like, these couples are giving, like, the minute they start to feel some doubt or some cold feet, they just head out. Like, it's not giving that I'm gonna try to build something with you or try to even get to know you. And that's why for me, I'm questioning, is it looks? Because I feel like looks is the only true thing that in 2-3 days can have you realize that you made such a big mistake. Because I don't get it. Like, I mean, Pascal is another one. We didn't see him even try. We didn't even see Pascal and Sheila have a conversation about themselves. In the same way that we didn't see Tolga and Sheila, having a conversation about themselves. So I don't know, for me, it's just like, we don't try anymore. We don't give it a try. The minute we feel doubt, we just head out. I don't know about this show. So Ilias and Alina, she said that she was watching them a little bit and she realizes that the door is still open for him with Hani. Now, he says he would be lying if he said the door was 100% shut. He feels that it's very disrespectful when he talks to her because of the feelings that he has. And she's like, so you do it anyway? How are you going to say something's disrespectful? You know you have all these feelings, but you still sit and talk with her. He ain't have nothing to say for the record to that. So Daniel and Hani, she's spilling everything that Ilias said about feeling disrespectful for talking to her because of his relationship with Alina. The same stuff that he just told to Alina. And he's like, so Ilias tried to make a move on you without telling me? And she's like, well, no. There's no need to worry about that. I'm not interested. And I do believe Hani. I actually genuinely believe Hani that she is not really interested in being with Ilias. I think Ilias is just thirsty and will not, like, back off. So anyway, back to Ilias and Alina. She's like, look, I feel like you are settling for me at this point. I am the safe option, but you genuinely want Hani, and I do not want to be someone's safe option. She's like, look, I don't know if the door is closed and if it ever will be. And I need that reassurance from you. And he's like, I don't know yet again. And I get that. I do get that. Like, you don't ever want to feel like the second option. You don't want to feel like someone is settling for you or like someone is just, you know, being with you because they know you'll never leave. That's a horrible feeling to have. So if I was Alina, I would probably break this up. Now, some of the couples, I don't understand why they're breaking things up. Alina, I feel like, has very valid reasoning to just be done. Because even if it is that he doesn't really want to be with Hani, the fact that this man's mind moves so quickly as soon as he sees another attractive woman, to me, that would be a red flag. That would be a very much, we are not going to continue to do this. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this point of the video, that means you liked the video. So I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Engage with the videos, turn on the notification bell, and you'll always know when I'm posting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!